For those of us joining, welcome to the meeting. If I can just ask you to mute your microphones, please, that would be fantastic. For those of us joining, we'll begin shortly. To the meeting. If I can just ask you to mute your microphone. Microphones, please, that would be. Microphones, please, that would be.
We have our first speaker with us.
Yeah, I'm there.
Have our first speaker with us. If you'd like, we could wait for a couple of minutes because a lot of people are still waiting in the with us. If you'd like, we could wait until 6 because a lot of people are still. Can we give it 3 minutes so everybody in the room with us? in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to your door. Paving way into an inclusive, collaborative ecosystem in the space sector, UNISEC-Global envisions a world where space science and technology are used by every individual and institution in every country across the whole structure of society for peaceful purposes and for the benefit of humankind. Aligned with this vision, UNISEC India is working hand in hand towards a better technological tomorrow in the space industry since its inception in 2018. To establish the same, here we are at the 21st virtual UNISEC Global Meet with its theme, Engineer Your CubeSat, Frugal Way to Access the Low Earth Orbits. Empowering enthusiastic learning communities beyond boundaries, we have eminent, erudite speakers lined up for this meet. On this occasion, I would like to welcome Padma Shri Dr. Mailswamy Annadure, Padma Shri Professor R.M. Vasagam, Dr. G.N.V. Prasad, Engineer Dusan Rado Savlovich, Dr. L.V. Muralikrishna Reddy, Dr. K. Gopalakrishnan, Engineer Nikhil Riaz, all the enthusiastic participants across various institutions from across the globe to this very meet. Welcome, one and all. To begin this meet, we have Dr. L.V. Muralikrishna Reddy, the President of UNISEC India, President, Indian Technology Congress Association, and 75 Student Satellite Consortium Mission 2022. Under his leadership, the mission was well appreciated throughout the country, with the Honorable Prime Minister specifically mentioning it in the recent UNGA address. He's a recipient of noted global awards, including the coveted fellowship of the Royal Society of Chemistry and IEEE's Eta Kappa Nu, recognizing individual excellence in education and meritorious work in professional practice. Dr. Reddy was bestowed the Honorary Fellow, Institution of Engineers, for his singular contribution for the growth of India's engineering profession and efforts to forge bilateral ties. On that note, I would like to welcome Dr. L.V. Muralikrishna Reddy to give us his opening remarks.
Thanks, Bhavana. Shall I put my presentation also to here?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. It's an honor for me to be part of today's event on virtual event on UNISEC Global Meet, hosted by UNISEC India, on the theme Engineer Your CubeSat, a Frugal Way to Access LEO. It's a great honor, and there are a lot of senior mentors are here, Padma Shri Dr. Annadure sir and Professor R.M. Vasagam sir, and of course there are my colleagues Dr. Gopalakrishna, Dr. Jay Kumar, Nikhil, and Dusan, and also Ray, and participants from globally as well as from the Indian side UNISEC chapters, TSC Technologies, ITCA members, and institutional partners. It's a great privilege and to be part of this today's program. Just getting to that, she talked about myself, and one thing I want to mention about the Indian Technology Congress Association. It's about 20-year-old organization, which is how established well, doing many activities. Current focus is on space, but earlier we used to do on many innovative areas, including 3D printing, agriculture side, Industry 4.0 kind of activities. Today, last 3-4 years, we are working on space programs. Yeah, just get a little a bit about University Space Engineering Consortium, what is really happening, what is in what we have taken from the UNISEC Global, which is really after during the pandemic time to now we've reached a great heights for spreading the space activities in India. thanks to the support of UNISEC, they are into many promoting and particularly the academic satellites and university student programs. Thanks to them, and we have taken a lot of collaborative activities based on UNISEC global advices. And UNISEC India, we have grown now to 48 local centers. It started in 2018. Launched a few satellites, 3 satellites we launched, and we also started some startups, and 2 startups are there. The one TSC is operating from here. Most of the technology support is coming for our satellite development activities in India through TSC technologies. We have a lot of partner ecosystem we created around this student satellite development activity. Through these initiatives, there are a lot of outcomes. We launched a lot of CanSat and CubeSat, CanSat launching activities. We developed training programs, skilling up programs, and webinars, seminars, workshops for the last 4-5 years. We have signed a lot of MOUs, and we have a lot of collaborative arrangements with industry, as well as the public sector and public as well as the private sector industries. We also had a lot of payload competitions, which will be covered later for both Earth observations as well as communication payloads. We publish a lot of things through our tip magazines and many other publications which are in circulation. Probably most of the members of UNISEC knows about this. And we have a very large number of patents we filed on satellite developmental activities. We build, launch the satellites, and we also establish the ground stations across the country. Okay, just get into the current Indian space sector or a snapshot of what we are doing. The celebrations, India is celebrating 75 years of independence, named under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We actually commemorating this particular activity of 75 student satellite activity to honor this particular event. This is 75 years of our India celebrating. Coming to just a snapshot of technology outlook, India is expected to have a 5 trillion economy by 2024. Okay. And there are a lot of schemes, a lot of missions have been launched by India, that is Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. These all mostly on the technology-oriented schemes. India also declared this year as a startup, 16th January, the National Startup Day, to encourage a lot of startups and entrepreneurships in India. India also declared this decade as a techade by the Prime Minister to focus mostly on the innovation, entrepreneurship, and startups. So that's a real boost to us. A lot of activities around the space economy is happening. This is definitely contributing space economy to the overall economy of the country. Just a few words about how the space is changing, Space 4.0, the new space economy. The contributors are digitalization, their functionalities are changing, there are a lot of new things are coming up through digitalization, and the miniaturization, the data processing capacity and all is increased. And industry 4 technologies like 3D printing, AI, and this kind of things are driving this sector. Adaptability of designs, computing software applications are available. Costs, availability of the components, and design and other facilities. Based on all these things, we are completely changing the new space economy right now. So space technologies for SDGs, this is all one of the focus, Indian Technology Congress with UNISEC India. We focus
I decide one of the child's that.
Yes. You can go ahead.
Please proceed. That was an attendee who had their microphone unmuted. Please proceed.
Yeah. Technologies, I mean, these all we adopted for our payloads as well as the development of any space activity around. And we always keep in mind of sustainable development goals, particularly on the agriculture side, crop productivity and food security related, urban planning, reducing carbon dioxide. Some of these payloads also getting into our 75 satellites. Coming to the theme, today's theme on the engineering your CubeSats, ITCA initiated actually a similar kind of a terminology, engineering your satellite, in 2018. Based on that, we have run a lot of training programs, upskilling programs, certification programs. We also have a lot of visits outside India and within India, hands-on trainings. There are our students went abroad like Israel, Serbia, France, Russia, and these places and trained. This all actually triggered our certified satellite program mission. Even though we have a 2-year pandemic issues, but later we picked up, and this activity is fully materialized or fully blooming on right now. Thanks for UNISEC support because they're delivering a lot of content, and they are also into a lot of training programs, state-of-the-art space activities for the university standards. We have taken a lot of inputs from various international agencies. We created in India a kind of a student satellite ecosystem, which is throughout the country spreading. India is not a small country. We have close to 6,000, 7,000 engineering institutions. So it has started spreading, and many centers, many academic institutions are joining into the consortium. Thanks to the patronage of UNISEC. Getting into the today's topic, frugal way of access LEO. The trend is started from GEO to MEO to MEO to LEO. This basically because of the historically the communication satellites or television or whatever that is GPS systems are happening from the GEO satellites, which is now turning towards LEO because of the cost things and the low latency levels as well as the speed of the internet. These kind of applications are coming up. High-speed internet activity, 5G, these kind of things are driving towards LEO economy. And also both communication as well as Earth observation systems are mostly more effective because of these technologies available with us. And right now, and the launching reusable rockets are coming up now. 60 to 70% of the present day investments are going towards LEO economy side. It's a lot landmark activities are happening around the LEO housing. Sustainable ecosystem is developed under around the LEO systems, LEO activities, and there are a lot of startups and new players are coming up. New investments are coming up around this particular area. So all these things together and microgravity related space tourism, a lot of infrastructure is developing around LEO, and Earth and space partnerships are developing. This all accelerating space LEO economy and commercialization. The engineering of small satellites, which is right now what we are talking about the Q satellites, is we have globally we have a lot of experience right now gathered last 6-7 decades, and CubeSat revolution really is happening at this moment, and many players are getting into this. 40% of the satellites which are launched last 1 or 2 years are small satellites. Expected to launch about 40,000+ kind of small satellites by 2030. It's dominated by the major players, the billionaire SpaceX and Starlink's OneWeb constellations. Just getting into the 75 student satellite mission, we have a scope to launch 75 build satellite, but we may not stop there. We will grow beyond that. Currently, our focus is 75 satellites. It's going on well. And our objective is make students to design, develop, manufacture, and integrate, test, launch, and monitoring. All the activities should be done by the students. And through this, we wanted to achieve science-based, practice-based learning and the STEM education to be developed around this. And the Prime Minister also supporting for this activity and is announced in UN General Assembly about this particular program. And our mission is develop long-term professions, experimental hands-on learning, STEM education, provide innovative, fascinating, constructive projects on the space. We have ethos, both ITCA as well as UNISEC. ITCA is having a strong base platform created for the 75 satellite program in the country. UNISEC having a global experience and global emphasis on creating this kind of a state-of-the-art technologies, space technologies. So both together we are doing a lot of activities in the country. We have a synergy with many organizations. We have national space agencies like ISRO, NSL and all, state governments, government agencies, outside countries, particularly Israel, BRICS countries, and we have industries from Russia. There are associations, space associations, and small-scale industries as well as the large space industries are also partnering with us. And this is a really great ecosystem we created. And we are very happy to be partnered with so many organizations, apart from our educational institutions and the universities, which they are having a lot of student communities are getting benefited out of this program. Stakeholders, for everybody is having some kind of a takeaways from this particular mission. This is a multidisciplinary kind of a learning framework. Institutions are getting benefited. Students are going to be benefited. A lot of new jobs are available around the space sector. The technology vendors also benefiting. Faculty is benefiting. That is, the staff or professors are benefiting. Institutions are benefiting. There are a lot of benefits we created across. This is the final slide, which I wanted to say that what we really wanted to create this through this mission is a workforce for the future employments as well as future entrepreneurship, which we wanted to create. A lot of startups are expected to come. There are a lot of interest is created. We also created a space infrastructure through our ground stations and all. All the 75 75 institutions will be having their own ground stations to monitor and create new applications. And the human power which we are going to create over there, space labs also creating through this mission. And everybody having, there is a takeaway from out of this mission, institutions, faculty, students, professional bodies, everybody having. With this, I will end my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was quite an elaborate overview on the Indian space sector as well as ITCA's involvement in the same. Our next speaker for today is Padma Shri Dr. Mailswamy Annadure, popularly known as the Moon Man of India. He is an Indian scientist and chairman of Board of Governors, National Design and Research Forum. He was with Indian Space Research Organization and served as director, ISRO Satellite Center, Bangalore. During his 36 plus years of service in ISRO, he has had some of the major contributions, including 2 of the major missions of ISRO, namely Chandrayaan-1 and Mangalyaan. Annadure has been listed among 100 global thinkers of 2014 and topped the innovators list. He is an inspiration to many Indian foreign student satellite teams across the world. He is the mentor of TSC Technologies, a student startup and instrumental for the success launch of 3 nano satellites, UNITY-SAT, during 28th February, along with ISRO's PSLV C-51 Amazonia mission. I would like to invite Padma Shri Dr. Mailswamy Annadure to share his treasury of knowledge on how to engineer your CubeSat, reflect on 75 Student Satellite Mission 2022 to celebrate India's freedom of 75 years. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that really good intro. Hope you're able to listen to me and my view graph is on.
Yeah. We can hear you loud and clear, and your screen is visible if you'd like to put it in presenter mode.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, now taking the view from study. This is a 75 satellite missions. Engineer your satellite. I think we'll be seeing some sort of overlap between the previous presentation, some PPTs and mine, but still wherever it comes, I will go through for the completeness sake. When we talk about the 75 student satellite mission in somewhat a global scenario today, wherein the India, the largest freedom, uh, independent India, it is celebrating the 75 years. I think it has been this particular project is taken more of a national level, even to the global scenario. When the Prime Minister of India himself has put on record and which has widely published in the local media here. That means 75 satellite mission is the dream of the whole of 1.3 billion Indian dream, which connecting with both within and outside India people are calling. And as Mr. already Reddy has told, the mission has a scope of launching 75 student-built small satellite LEO. Obviously, the reasons being the first is towards the low Earth missions today. With the objective is to build and sharpen student skills in design, development, manufacturing, like that. So the methodology being told is providing a science-based education beyond even making the hands-on experience to make the satellite, wherein trying to bring in a number of ITCAs, bringing, as already the study has told, a good amount of ecosystem, both the infrastructure as well as the brains are brought together, such that they will be hand-holding the students to go for the next generation. That means through this unique mission, students will be able to compile a portfolio of signature space projects that will highlight their competencies to present, and they will equip themselves to move forward future. While doing this, just I think we cannot forget the history because India is celebrating 75th India's independence. India also has a modest beginning somewhere in 13, 14 years into its independence, starting its space program. A very, very modest way. Of course, taking hands from the erstwhile USSR, USA, and France for their initial baby steps. But slowly that started and trying to make their own satellite, launch elsewhere, and to make the satellite launch from Indian soil. Then gradually improving upon, you can see a market thing from 2008 onwards. I think wherein the Chandrayaan made its presence around the moon, though the 70th mission got around the moon, it made a very good impact and discovery of water on the moon. And beyond that, it has a good number of foreign collaborations of 6 foreign instruments coming from outside. It made the visibility of Indian space program both within the national boundary and as well as beyond the national boundary. So that beyond that, 2008 onwards, the India's space program, the wing has started in a much better way. And there you can see good number of satellites being which are made outside, being launched by Indian launch vehicle, and as well as some of the satellites, even the signature missions like WTM is a very big communication satellite made for the foreign partners. So, and now beyond that, even South Asia satellites that India made, and so that the other countries, neighboring countries of India, also making use of the space applications in a big way. And like that, many things happened there. And very many graduations that happened starting from 2008, wherein the mission Chandrayaan made a good visibility both within the India and outside India. So that means that today Indian space sector, it has to be a snapshot. It is now beyond a government of India organization. It is now stretching its wings how even the academia and the private industries can come and play a meaningful role within the Indian space program. So accordingly, the space policy has been accordingly revised, and the launch vehicles, starting from the small satellite launch vehicle to the polar satellite launch vehicle and geosynchronous launch vehicle, and the various the orbits it can put, leaving alone the names, and from the small satellite all the way to the manned mission launching activities that come there. So when we are doing a good amount of other foreign collaborations also is in the place. But while this is happening within ISRO, ITCA also entered because Technology Congress Association is the Indian continent part of various technologies. The cutting edge technology, whatever has come, is trying to take either expertise to build up or the skill sets to happen within the India. So that way it's joining hands with Indian space program in this changing scenario, to taking, possibly converting the Indian space into a global space hub. And that to happen, towards that, what ISRO has done, and this is taken here. As I told here, 2008, a market difference happened, big transition happened in the Indian space program. So accordingly, you can see from 2009 onwards, gradually the students started making the satellites, the hand holding of ISRO. And a good number of satellites from 2009 onwards, 10, 11, 12, like that happened there. And the latest one being UNISEC, which is state-of-the-art technologies with ITCA's hand holding sitting there, with a consortium of the institutions within India trying to make the satellite and launching. That is showing what ISRO has transited, and ITC also joining, and academia also playing together. So this is the latest history of on which now we are trying to sit in the 75th year is concerned. Parallelly, ISRO also from 2018 and 19 is concerned, every year bringing in good number of non-spacefaring nations as today, bringing them and giving them some sort of hands-on experience, like them a small satellite in-house. Like that today, because of the COVID, I think the last 2 years not much happened. But as of now, around 33 countries across the globe abroad, and given the hands-on experience of how they can engineer the small satellites is concerned. So you can see some sort of a convergent transition, the spiral way it's happening, both ISRO and as well as ITCA and academia. And it's not only within the Indian boundary and stretching its wings even beyond that also. So now connecting the Indian Technology Congress Association, ITCA, to this particular thing is concerned. Yes, it's using from all the way from agriculture to aeronomy, all of any of the cutting edge technologies being harnessed, and Indian Technology Congress is doing a remarkably good presence in the Indian subcontinent to taking the engineering and technology here next pedestal. Now, when we're talking about in this scenario, as Mr. Reddy has already told, now when we're looking at how India has progressed and how Indian space program has progressed, and how the academia and ITCA joined together. So all these three pillars together. Now you look at here when 75th year of India's independence has come. Now, yes, India is celebrating, ISRO is celebrating. Now ITCA and academia, how we can go with the basis whatever is shown there. In terms of making the satellite, in terms of showcasing the academia capabilities and putting the things together. So the idea is to celebrate the and commemorate 70 years of independence by launching 75 missions, 75 student satellites. That means the whole concept of this 1 year celebration across the nation is to make aware the Indian youths what is the freedom struggle people have made to get this independence, and then generate ideas in 75th year and resolve them in 75. Then you have an action to go ahead in the future. That means, but still we should achieve something within the time bound of 75th year. So 75th year is one side to look back with the gratitude what our freedom struggle have done, and another side take action such that our future is better. For that, make a concrete programs and do it and show it in the year of 75th India's independence. As Mr. Reddy has already told, with this ethos, Indian Technology Congress is joining hands with the synergy with the various industry partners, both within India and outside, both academia and is concerned. So finally, basically to arrive at the mission purpose is to encourage the students to embrace STEM education in pursuit of long-term professions through experimental hands-on learning beyond the classrooms. It provides innovative, fascinating, and constructive space projects that foster problem solving and critical thinking. I think you know that the satellite technology provides a very good opportunity of team building, solving the problems. Many things is happening there. So, but now while doing, we should keep in abreast with what is going on there. As rightly as told, Space 4.0 provides that triple eyes of how to interact, innovate, inform, and inspire the people. So that is the first way, and that's accordingly it moves forward. So now, while doing, the students' participation enables many things to happen. To strengthen India's renewed economic policy by creating employability, skill development, many things can happen there. So, 75 satellites to be built and launched. As I told, this year something to be achieved. So that is the thing. So that will enable a future startup fueled by entrepreneurs. So that may enable all these sort of things. So it has a multi-dimension thing. One side showcasing this can be done, and in the process of making this mission, the students will get a end-to-end life cycle experience of making the students. That means design, develop, test, fabricate, integrate, and launch the CubeSats within the short time period. This is really a, a very, very ambitious goal, but that used to be achieved. And while do that, as I told, these are all the contemporary space tech applications, starting from global brand connectivity, all the way TV, radio broadcasting, USB lines. Many things are happening, many things are in a place, connecting the billions of beyond all these things, Industry 4.0 or something like that we talk about. It connects billions of devices and assets. That's man to man, man to machine, machine to machine. These also things are happening. But to enable that, definitely the satellites, especially lower satellites, are going to play a meaningful role. So that it's still keeping mind that the sustainable goals of UN also meant to do today this project is already in the 30 years ago. But while doing this, yes, the global trend is to go towards the satellites, the small satellites in that way. That means whatever we do now is basically is not totally very old, and it is keeping abreast with what will be there. That means when we talk about up to 2030, how the satellite numbers will grow. That means whatever we do now here is definitely a lot of workfulness for at least minimum another 1 or 2 decades concerned, as we foresee today. That means the prominence of lower Earth is very well known, and that means whatever the platform what we are working is good. So, but when we're talking about that, again, it's classified into the small satellites into a all the way from the 100 kg satellite to even sub 1 kg satellite is we talk about. So, but when we talk about in this scenario, 1U, 2U, 3U configurations we are talking about, and that way the student satellites when we're talking about from schools to the universities point of view, and there is a good possibility of various ranges of things could be done. But as far as but while doing it, what really it can be done? What really it can be done is this can lead into a good number of indicative payloads what are given here. I think that it can be tested in some form or other. It can be tested by the single satellite or the cluster of satellites is concerned. So that way it can help in various ways, like what Industry 4.0 is connectivity of very many systems, starting from healthcare, manufacturing, textile, even the drone application, aerospace, many things we are talking about that. But to enable that, definitely satellite and with the small satellite configurations will enable in a much better way. Now coming to the engineering in a queue, whatever we're talking about, these are all the targets what really we can do. We have to make a satellite. So that calls for in a phased manner of making the arriving at a mission objective, then define the missions things, then you have a preliminary design of the overall mission, then you break down them to the subsystems. Even though textbooks are available, now we have to make it a new system for our own purpose. So subsystem design is called for both, and that you have a good number of softwares available to can be validate the designs, and then you go for the first making of the satellite, maybe a verification model, then go for engineering model, then test it, and in the process you understand the pitfalls, issues, something like that. Then go for the flight model. In between, you qualify your models, whatever you have done. Then they test it and test in the space-like environment and the launch. So that means this holistic life cycle of multiple phases will enable the students to know what is there into making the satellite, what is there to design it, what is there to arrive at the concept, what is there to design it in various models with the qualification model, engineering model, and finally going to flight model. Then a big change of launch, and beyond all these things, post launch. Okay, so this the holistic thing will be able to number of And while doing that, it has a good number of subsystems like communication system, electrical power system, attitude determination control system. Then when we do everything, that's the first of the system. Then data management for the payload in which each one of them come out. We will talk about sometime later. There is a possibility of the universities and the institutions can come out with their own novel application using that platform. That's called the payload. While do all these things, definitely we should ensure the reliability is a primary and integral factor in the design. Because once you have done it here, it's launched. So there is no way to take it back and correct it. So it just work in a very, very reliable way. Considering that the space weather is very, very, I think, in terms of geomagnetic storms or radiations, many things. So such things can, yes, it indicated here, it can damage the electrical components, cripple the satellite. Many things can happen. But then similarly, the space test, these are all the environment. Against this environment, it has to work. So that means a reliable system is arrived at. So while doing it, we have to create a balance between what is the overall mission requirement and the capabilities of the satellites. And while doing, definitely money also involved. So you have the choice between commercially off-the-shelf available systems and the space hardened components. Space hardened components, it will sustain these things, but money-wise, you have to spend more money. But if you are able to design it properly, in spite of this, it will not affect the components like that. Your system design takes care, and you can have the commercially available off-the-shelf systems you can make. So that way, there is, as an engineer, you will able to do in optimization and trade-off and things you can do that. So while doing it, we should ensure that it's not hit by a space debris, and you also should not create a space debris. So these are also very much required. And once put in orbit, as a post-launch also, which orbit satellite is working, when it's coming to visibility, sort of things to be seen there. So like that, and even after that, some internal problems happen working in 400 kilometers away. And whatever the signal comes here, we must be able to decipher what is the issue, if anything is there, whether the system is working or not. So that way, even from the concept to the operating, getting the signal down there, a lot more the students will be able to learn in a big way. This system is concerned. So that means how we will do it. That means the way we are going to do is we must, when we talk about this particular mission of when we're talking about 1D or 2D satellites, less than a kg type of thing we're talking about there. So that means it will be low cost and with the available time is less for us, because when we are being universities cannot spend a huge amount of money. And now we already told within this year it should be launched, less time available. So that is, but luckily we have advanced miniaturization and digitization available. So putting the things together, I think we can do it. But while doing it, it does education and skills and technology, demo, scientific temperament, and future jobs it will generate. But who will do? Definitely, this target is schools, colleges, universities, and that will be supported by the industries which are already handheld by the ISRO, or Israel, or Japan, or Serbia. Serbia is concerned. So these government space agencies also, to some extent, can help. But numerous countries in the world also, when we talk about UNISEC, I think a number of other experts that also happening there beyond Indian countries. So when definitely it is within this year. Before 2022 end, I think we should do it because it is 75th year of India's independence. So while doing all these things, India's domestic capabilities, as I already told, what ISRO has done it and its capabilities, and it has brought out some very good number of Indian industries also. The capabilities available, and ITCA and TCS put together the latest three satellites designs available with the lessons learned also available. Accordingly, the computation has come. So, putting together the launch opportunity for ISRO's entities, because the Minister of India himself has declared it. I think we hope ISRO's the positive support is happening there. That definitely this will happen. So, this will happen. Launch will happen within India. How is basically this is first why, what, who, when, where, how. This is what the business in which the whole of science is there. And for the 75 visions, we are trying to answer all these things. The how answer is coming from Indian Technology Conservation, along with a good number of partners who you are all today as a part of this particular webinar. And while mission life cycle is concerned, we'll bring in ecosystem, already told, to scale up from concept to constellation. Because as I told here, there's low Earth satellite, we are talking about the one-use satellite. Not only one satellite, it's 75 satellites. 75 satellites, if everything goes well, it will work as a constellation mode. That is really, really a remarkable thing will happen there. So that's how it will happen there. Towards that, ITCA will help how to get the world-class execution team on board to drive this mission particular point of view. That's how the brain began. They will bring in there, and as well as the monitoring and tracking of the whole activity ATCA will do, and helping for the design and helping for the manufacturing and helping the testing and validation, because that all the ISRO facilities fairly well facilities and as well as the facilities built by the private sectors also made available by ITCA. Finally, the launching, because it's very, very cost intensive. 75 satellite launching, getting the launcher is also really tough, but I think we will enable to do that. So while just running through that, and this is the basic configuration we're talking about here. Some variants may be there depending upon the university configuration. It can be 2U, 3U possible, but a satellite configuration per se, I think what we are targeting ITCA and TCS concept something like this. One is satellite, and the solar panels is put all the phases such that whichever the phase comes, definitely solar minimum power is available there, and accordingly the communication point of view also it's available. So it is the basic system that will have its own communication system, power system, altitude control system, and onboard system, and which enable the payload which you can be made and can be interfaced with the power, thermal, and the interface point of view. So available payload volume also has been given in this mass power point of view. Subsequent view graph will elaborate that slightly better. Payload volume, mass power. I think the projects will be made available. So it can be built and we can sit on this. This talks about the mechanical arrangement and how much the power will be taken up from the bus system such that the payload is working. So how it interfaces, interfacing point of view also, this has been given such that the universities or students make the thing compatible for any one of this interface system. And accordingly, as I told here, it's reliable and other things for the space environment. Towards that, temperature rating and there, and indicative payloads also given here, and that will enable for the constellation when they work together, can possible, and very many things are possible. And these are just indicative things, but its imagination is the real topic. While doing all this, having done all these things, as I told, it needs to be tested in the space environment. It can help. So that starts from physical properties, launch environment analysis scenarios, and towards that, when the launch vibration happens, that has to be tested in the ground in various ways, and various thermal cycles will happen there in the vacuum environment. These are all the specific special facilities will made available, and the students will have ample opportunity to know how it's happening. This is what are some of the tests going on. The previous that is concerned. TCS team is doing that. And so that it's an acceptable level of there goes for launch. While doing all these things, I think every institution will be equipped with the ground station ground station, and that's also part and parcel of this particular project. That means when we make 75 satellites and the 75 institutes are there, means minimum 75 ground stations will be there. So this is a ground station set up to be established in the first campus, and that will enable to bring not only their own satellite, all the 75 satellites data in a time sequence mode. I think they can receive, and they will able to within themselves they will be able to have a networking of the system is possible. So this is another host. When we talk about any space mission, not only make the satellite and how to get the satellite data down and decipher it, and again understand what is it there and do good number of activities you can do. So that way it's a holistic thing all the way from conceptualization to the post-launch operating the satellite is concerned. So then when everything is happening there, definitely beyond even ITCA and TCS and the universities, ISRO itself is going to handhold or monitor how the progress of the project is going on. So that way, a good project management council has been constituted, and every expertise team will do what's going on, and all the way from top to end, and even enabling the test facilities within ISRO also made available to us. So that way, it's a one shot. Even it's a premium any of the institution to visit just a facility at ISRO. But now there is an opportunity for them to work with ISRO scientists in the facilities and having a very good feel about how things are going around. So it's really a bundle. It's not only a satellite they are going to launch, not only making the satellite and the testing and having an interaction with the ISRO expertise is going to be a thing. That means that it's not only that ISRO also will see to that this mission things are going in a proper direction. So while doing it here, there is the schedule when we're talking about here, preliminary design review already completed. Initially, it told it's all to be done. But now, what is happened? Where we understand when we talk about here, many things have happened. Preliminary design review of the bus has been happened there, and similarly, many of the systems, the lab level tests are going on. Then the components, when the good number of satellites you have to make, you have to procure the components. So that also activities already in place. And so when we talk today, I think you can on the dot you can see that where we stand. Okay, and this is the timetable which is being done. That means before the end of the year 2022, we must be able to put all the 75 satellites into the orbit, and that may start from somewhere in the August time. That means somewhere in July, minimum number of satellites. Some satellites will be ready for launch, but it will go in batches so that we will not put everything in one basket. So as I told here, even though 75 student satellites are made, the ownership is there. Any institution which is a part and parcel of consortium can have its own access to all the remaining 74 satellites also. So even if something happens, definitely a good number of satellites data is available to see. So nothing to worry about that. So again, all the 75 satellites will not be launched at one go. So that is also happening in the batches. So that way, switching from all the way from the month of July to December, we will be having the launch of satellites. That to happen, already many good number of activities are happening there. And today is what we are talking about when we talk about the May. This is the time period when the procurement of many components are already in the place. And then that means June, July onwards, when the systems will be keep assembled there. The students will slowly get a feeling about that. Then they will keep participating in the environment tests, as I told here. Thermovacuum test, there's vibration test, and thermal cycle test, EMI, EMC test. Many tests are there. So they will part and parcel of that. Then slowly from August 15th onwards, when ISRO is ready for the launch in the PSLVs or SSLV, whichever the launch vehicle available to match our orbit requirement, I think that the launches will take place. So that means we can look at here already we have crossed more than 3/4 of the time period. That means we are sitting at the 14 identified item. We are sitting at the item number 10 today. Okay, procurement it's happening by June. That's over. So almost in that timetable sitting there. So you can have the feel about that's very ambitious. So while doing it here, what's it mission deliverable? Okay, this is what the institutions will get. Okay, depending upon whether 1U or 2U or 3U, and there are some financial implications. But depending upon that, whatever the MOU you have signed along with ITCA, you will get there. Along with that, primary, secondary payloads, you can have it. So this is a host of things will be delivered. Either you will be knowing, will be having the hardware in your place, ground station on your own there, and you will be part and parcel of many of the activities, whatever is happening there. You'll get a good number of training towards that, learning resources, training materials, many things, both audio visuals of the small satellites will be made available. So very many things will be part and parcel of that. Beyond that, you will be part and parcel of the work ongoing with respect to manufacturing and the testing and the launch campaign, what will happen in the launch pad. So it's a really a package we are going to get beyond even the satellite. And you will have your own satellite in a lab model. We also available even beyond being launched. That means a good amount of activities will happen even beyond that. So it's a really good thing to happen. So the value position is it's a really a disruptive innovation for new space solutions. And because the smaller doesn't mean it is a small, it's going to make a big impact. Because like your cell phones, previously phones were big, but now smaller cell phones making a lot of impact. Smartphones have come like that. This satellites what we're talking about 1U, 2U, the small satellites will be the smartest satellites can possible. But while doing it, definitely multidisciplinary training is possible there. And beyond students, even faculty also can enhance their competencies in progress research activities. That is a very big. So now today, ITC or ISRO is hand holding. This is only initial baby step. Like whatever I told ISRO. ISRO also started its work with Israel, USSR, and USA and France spacefaring nations were hand holding in 60s. Today, ISRO is hand holding the US students. But now, subsequently, that faculty can enhance their competencies and they can do a good number of research activities. So universities, institutions gain substantially through collaborative incubations because it's not only within the institution and you will have minimum 75 institutions. And there is a very good possibility outside this also, India also, that good number of institutions can join with us. Probably that announcement ITCA may do soon do. So that way will help, and good number of industries also part of that. So your collaborative research and it's very much feasible in this concept. So that way, the student satellite, when we are making, the stakeholders are very ready, and what they gain is going to be a really leap and bound within this 1 year time period is concerned. And while doing it here, it is not absurd, it is structured content for the young minds. Okay, and the structured and the graded course materials will be made available on space and related aspects developed for school students. Latest technologies. I think that is the very important thing. It's not the history we are going to talk about. What we're talking about is what is happening right away and what is expected in the years to come. I think that's what we are. So that means access to course material through learning management systems will happen with the 5 big ideas of perception, comprehension, learning, and natural interaction, and it will make a very good impact. So new base is for the curious and creative minds. I think that is the buzzword that's happening there. The potential opportunities, and beyond all this may look like philosophical, but now beyond all these things, concretely look at here, what sort of job opportunities possible? The students, when they come out of this, beyond the graduation, they can have a host of job opportunities, starting from system engineers, space lawyers, GNS engineer, product research engineer, project manager, machine vision engineers. You look at many things, oceanography, plasma physics, so much of works. I think the possibility exists. Data scientists is a big work, data analysis is a big work, and therein you will now get a good amount of hands-on experience in this particular field when you are entering here. That means the host of job opportunities available beyond being an entrepreneur. I think is another thing is the entrepreneurship is also very much visible. That means future endeavor is concerned, new space is a self-sustaining ecosystem that increases options and opportunities, as I told here, that can be leveraged by stakeholders to shape the future of space. It is now future of space means the individual, the organization, the nation, and the globe. I think you will be part and parcel of that to happen. The opportunity for India to build a collaboration with more than 90 spacefaring nations are very much visible. This will scale educational infrastructure, create high-skilled jobs, and boost the Indian economy. So that means it's a holistic thing, though this baby step of small satellites of 70 satellites. That means 70 student satellite mission is a mature platform for collaboration because, as I told, there are many steps we have taken, starting from 2009 and ANUSAT 40 kg satellite, when the latest UNISEC were launched, a lot of graduation happened there. So this, when we are making this effort today, it's a matured platform for collaboration and cooperation in the space research, creating a pathway for inflow of expertise. That means with this, ITCA is nurturing the 70% mission to deliver value for institution, faculty, and students in the realm of real new phase. I think that is the main thing. Just I run through the few of the view graphs, just showing the photos of what's going on. I told already going on. So this is typically for the Karnataka state, how they are, the students, they want to get it connected. This is the school students. I think already a lot of activities happening there. When coming before reaching to this level, ITCA and TMSAT stage have the student satellite program. I think the last 3 years going on. These are all the basic things happened before reaching here. And Indo-Israel Space Tech Leadership Program happened. That means when we are happening here, lot of base work has happened there. IT satellite development and Serbia. I think starting from CANSAT, very many activities happened there. And so these are all the people, part and parcel of this, who learned from here, who taught from there, all are part and parcel of this. So ITC and UNISEC collaboration also part and parcel of this activity, and a number of conferences happened. Today's whatever webinar is one such thing, bringing the minds together. And team partnership is, as I told, it's across the globe, very many people are there. And within India also, from ISRO, all the other industries also part and parcel of startup industries also giving. That means you can see the access possible and the expertise available and the facilities we have an access is really a big numbers we talk about. This talks about the student satellite mission in India, that is UNITEC-SAT, whatever has been launched in 2021. And after the post-launch, the team is celebrating that. And this is the post-launch celebration, wherein the local minister also part and parcel of thing in this success meet. So why I'm doing it here? A similar thing we expect a year from now for the 175 satellites that we are launched and we are looking at there. I think there is every possibility. Whatever the path is gone through that, I think similar pictures, we definitely will also be able to do that. Towards that, I think we have a good number of strategic collaboration MOUs, memorandum of understanding, with various institutions across India. This is the latest collaboration, universities, institutions, progress mission. Some of the recent partners alone I have put it here. I think it's keep growing, and something is maybe missing also, because otherwise every head will be very tiny thing. And this is the core of the team, in which they will be project management as well as technical team, through which I think you will be the students satellite program. The institutions will be interfacing, and they have their own expertise when making these starting from CANSAT, making the UNITEC-SAT, and they are their students. I think they are startup also they have done. So that means they are the models in which the students will look upon, and so that they will have visibility. Yes, this our elder brothers are part and parcel of this making, and they have done it, and we are doing. So that is another life example, life model when the people define this work is concerned. While doing it here, definitely elderly wisdom also is the backbone of this particular mission. So with this, I think thank you very much for one and all part of this today's session, and I think I expect a good activities in the months to come, and this UNISEC meeting also we enable it.
Well, being the project director of Chandrayaan, the India's moon mission, as well as the program director for Mars Orbiter mission, you are the epitome of excellence, sir. You have been pivotal in India's 75 student satellite mission 2022, as well as the driving force for ITCA BRICS Federation of Engineering Organization, as well as World CANSAT and Rocketry competitions, sir. Thank you for your valuable words. Up next, giving us a report on UNISEC India chapter activities and its noteworthy events, we have Engineer Nikhil Riaz, student representative of UNISEC India, founder, chief executive officer of TSC Technologies Private Limited, core team member, and the technical lead for India's 75 student satellite mission 2022. I now request Engineer Nikhil Riaz to kindly take us through the journey.
Thank you so much, Bhavna, for introduction. I'll just quickly share my screen. I hope I'm audible.
Yes,
you are audible.
Perfect. Okay. So let me just share my screen right away. And I hope my screen is visible as well.
It's just loading. Just give it a moment. Yes, it's visible. Please proceed.
Okay. So very good morning, afternoon or evening to everyone present here. It's my pleasure to present the UNISEC India chapter report. The last report was presented about a year ago, and we've made a lot of progress in the years 2021 to 2022. As you might have already heard from Dr. Reddy and Dr. Mileswamy and Adurai. I will again be covering a few of the topics. I'll try to make it quick, as I was informed that we're a little short of time. So going forward, so history of UNISEC India and a few of the historic activities that we've done. This is something that I already presented in previous reports. So formation and official announcement of UNISEC India was done in the 6th UNISEC-Global Meet at Strasbourg, France, post which we announced the World Cancer and Rocketry Competition. We successfully launched the UNISEC mission, which is 0.3U satellites that has already been covered in previous presentations. Development of CANSAT kits for educational institutions so that we can give institutions a first step into space engineering. Development of cost-effective VHF and UHF ground station systems that we've been able to deploy, that we're planning and have been able to deploy some across India. Establishment of over 30 institutional chapters under UNISEC India to, of course, participate in UNISEC global activities and space engineering activities in India. So talking about the outreach that we have over the year of 2021-22, we've reached over 160 universities and engineering institutions through events conducted in collaboration with government organizations. We've signed MOUs with over 60 institutions towards the development of the 7th Student Satellite Mission, and many more MOUs are being signed. A lot of universities are coming into picture here and starting the development work for the mission. 7 payload competitions were conducted to identify suitable payloads for the upcoming missions. A lot of these payloads that we finalized from competitions are being used in the satellites that are going to be launched in the coming future. Numerous workshops and CANSAT launch events were conducted in schools, colleges, and universities. Of course, talking about the 75 Student Satellite Mission, the primary objective of the 75 Student Satellite Mission was to set up an ecosystem in India for university participation in space tech. And this is something that lines up very well with UNISEC Global's objectives. Of course, we are starting to create an ecosystem in India so that university students are able to start participating in space in comparison to how the ecosystem was a couple of years ago. If you see the statistics, when you compare India to a lot of other spacefaring nations, we see university involvement, student involvement was a little limited, but that is something that has started changing since 2020 due to the formation of a few different organizations like Indian Space Association and InSpace that are opening up windows, opening up doors for university participation, for private sector participation in space sector. So we're seeing a lot of startups coming up where we're seeing students who were initially not allowed to visit facilities within ISRO, visit labs, and learn in hands-on in the sector. We're seeing all of them getting an opportunity to now participate in this ecosystem that's being created. So, of course, as already mentioned, the objective is to launch 75 satellites to commemorate the 75th year of Indian independence. And it is, of course, 2022, and hence the deadline for all of these satellites would be December of 2022. And of course, through this mission, we're trying to encourage startups and develop skills in the field of STEM to accelerate the growth in the space sector, not only in India, but also worldwide, because we're able to set up this ecosystem for Indian students to participate, as well as students from non-spacefaring nations as well. So, as already mentioned, this is mostly supported because of the growth in private space sector, which we're seeing since 2020 due to the formation of a lot of organizations that are making it their primary goal to accelerate development in the private space sector. Talking about the media coverage that has been gained by the 75 Student Satellite Mission and the activities that we've been doing, ITCA, TSE, UNISEC, India have been quoted in a lot of these media articles that we're seeing. The 75 Satellites mission was also quoted by the Honorable Prime Minister of India in the UN General Assembly. You can see some of these media articles over here. A lot of them covering MOU signing activities, CANSAT training activities, CANSAT launch activities, and a lot of other training that has been happening across India that's part of the mission. Also, one noteworthy thing to put up over here is the collaboration that we've been able to establish with government school students. So as part of the 75 mission, we're also working with schools. Of course, school students ranging from middle school to high school usually don't get the opportunity to participate hands-on in such missions, but we are able to give them a course, give them enough learning material, adequate training for at least 200 students within just one state, as Karnataka. And we're hoping to be able to extend this to the other states in India so that we can bring in school students and strengthen that ecosystem from the grassroots. We're setting up nanosatellite centers in each of these schools and universities, establishing ground control stations capable of operating all the way from lower UHF till even all the way up to about 6 gigahertz of operation. So, of course, right now we're setting up VHF, UHF antennas, but it's scalable to be able to communicate with any satellite that could be launched in the future as well. We also have an application that has been developed by TSC called the SatNav, which allows for satellite tracking and communication with the satellite. This is basically all of these ground stations that are being set up networked over cloud to be able to communicate straight from your phone. So you could be on the move and monitoring your satellite data, sending commands to the satellite, and so on. As already mentioned, there was a PMC, or Program Monitoring Committee, that was set up for the Center for Satellites mission. The PMC consists of heads of various departments within the Indian Space Research Organization. It's a clear indication of how ISRO has started opening the doors to university students, private organizations stepping into ISRO, starting to help and share knowledge that the Indian Space Organization has gained over the years to make sure that any mission that is taken up in the private sector or university or education sector is successful. Of course, the objective of the PMC is to monitor the progress of the upcoming mission in all aspects, technical and non-technical, be it component procurement, finances, be it launch opportunities, interfacing with the launch vehicle. Everything is covered and monitored very closely by the PMC. And of course, the PMC has been reviewing the progress of the Satellite mission periodically. We've had meetings every fortnight since September, and that has helped with a lot of the activity that is happening in India. And the proposed platform for the Satellite mission, given that there's going to be a lot of satellites associated with this mission and the short timeline that we're facing, it was necessary that we come up with a standardized platform on which all the students could develop their payloads and mount it and experiment with satellites. So a standard OneU platform, as shown over here in this image, was developed by the UNISEC India ITCA team, ITCA-TSC team. The configurations over here, we essentially have body-mounted solar panels. We have a complete attitude determination control system for active control. All the monitoring mechanisms required, and everything that we could possibly put within a OneU satellite is present, and everything that is required for a basic space mission has been provisioned in this OneU CubeSat. Some of the industry collaborations that we have are over here. We have about 15 to 20 different industries that we're working with very closely. Day by day, we are collaborating with more industries, signing more MOUs, and pulling them into this ecosystem that we're trying to create so that students are able to work with these industries. So ISRO has been working with a lot of these industries towards the development of satellites that have been built from the government side, from the defense side. And the very same industries that have been qualified for development of these satellites are also catering to the needs of the university and the education sector. So be it clean rooms, be it test facilities, thermovac, vibration testing, it's all made available and made available in a fashion that's very easy to access in comparison to what we had a couple of years ago. ITC 2022 was an event that is a flagship event organized by the Indian Technology Congress Association in partnership with TSC Technologies, UNISEC India, WCRC, World Federation of Engineering Organizations, Indian Institution of Product and Engineers, FKCCI, and IEEE. Loads of professional organizations associated in this kind of an event, brings professional bodies, brings knowledge, brings experience to the table. The students are able to interact with, private companies are able to interact with these organizations, gain the knowledge, network with the like-minded people, and accelerate the development of projects that we've been able to pick up. Going forward, we have conducted a lot of CANSAT to CubeSat training workshops. The reason we're picking up CANSATs over here is, of course, because all aspects of CubeSat development can also be done in a CANSAT. It's a terrestrial application, and that allows the students to understand the entire process associated with a regular satellite mission. And this is the first training that these students go through after which they step into the satellite development itself, of course, guided by all of the experts that are part of this mission. We've also have a lot of publications and resource material that has been made available, 12 publications, including a special edition Indo-Israel book on new space data. We also have a newsletter or a magazine that we have, a tip magazine that is published quarterly that gives a complete overview of everything that is happening within the Indian space sector and all of the associated universities or private companies and all the activities that are happening in the space sector. We also have a publication called the CANSATs to CubeSats by TSE, which essentially is a textbook for any student that wants to start building a satellite. We give the overview of a complete CANSAT development process and show how that can be translated into a CubeSat or a nanosatellite. We were also able to find 48 plus patents related to space tech, all filed by students that were part of these, part of this mission and part of older missions that were launched from India. We also have a nanosatellite course that is being developed, that is being offered by an in-house developed learning management system, covering all aspects of nanosatellite design, development, and launch, all the way from the fundamentals till the licensing, frequency coordination, coordinating with IARU, WPC, and all of the other organizations that are associated with any launch. Any theory course that you get from an institution will only give you the engineering aspects. Will only tell you how to build the satellite, but doesn't give you the complete overview of how to get the satellite into orbit and do post-launch operations. So that's everything that we cover, so that any student that wants to learn how the process works is able to get everything they want in a single platform. And it can be delivered in a self-paced mode, or we're also offering this course to universities that can be delivered as part of the semester and could count towards credits and so on. So that's all for the UNISEC report. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Nikhil Riaz, for giving us such an informative report in a nutshell. We really appreciate it. I would like to take us through a journey, and we have a flip book for everybody. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. We can see a screen.
So here's a brief journey and an annual activities report for the yesteryear. As you're aware of the core team members and our mentors. This has been a feat in our journey where we were able to launch 3 nanosatellites last year with ISRO's PSLV C51 with Amazonia mission. This was the success meet of the same. Here are our mentors, a few of whom are our esteemed speakers today. Our association goes beyond the boundaries we have drawn. This was all a part of the success meet where we made further collaborations with the government. We also inaugurated multiple ground stations. One such noteworthy is Chandigarh University Satellite Ground Station. ITC's Satellite for Everyone and Space for Everyone was one such event. The main idea is to make the whole community under one umbrella, to keep us all together. Here we are at the 75 Student Satellite Consortium, Mission 2022. As mentioned earlier, the Prime Minister himself announced this mission in United Nations General Assembly. The word has spread across the nation and now across the globe. The flip book will be made available to everybody post the meeting. You can all take a look. With government collaborations, we're also going to have a satellite in the name of a late famous actor in the Kannada industry, Puneet Rajkumar. We have the Puneet Sat, Nagarjuna College contribution and interaction. Satellite for everyone and space for everyone. The team, the technology, the words of the wise, system engineering, small satellites, collaborations with various engineering institutions, collaborations with various countries, CSPD, introduction to the global market, UNISEC's involvement, talking about the free nanosatellite launch, evolution of small satellites, all the details one may require to understand the nanosatellite industry, about the market, about building a nanosatellite. You might be able to find everything in this opus. It is a compendium for every enthusiast. This might be your one-stop. New Space India Limited, the private sectors of ISRO, World Cancer and Rocketry Competition, World Cancer and Rocketry Consortium, partner institutions in building the satellite, TIP, engineering of new space, advancing startups in new space, engineering in a cube, the government satellite, the Puneet Sat, the mentorship we have for this mission, the structure we follow, the team, our collaborations with Israel, inauguration of Kalpana Chawla Center at Chandigarh, this is just an overview of what lies in this flip book. The whole flip book will be made available to every participant today. Everything one needs to know in CubeSat, new space technology, this flip book will make it available for you. CanSat programs, CanSats launched in various institutions such as Nagarjuna, various publications, newspapers, covering the events, covering the mission, covering the collaborations in various languages, in various states. reaching out to people, educating, empowering. Here we are at the end of the flipbook. It is now time for us all to take a picture together. Before we move on to the next speaker, I would request every participant to kindly turn on your cameras and be a part of the picture. Dear participants, let us all get together for a group photo session. Time for some smiles, everybody. Nate will give us a thumbs up when we're done.
We're almost there, just waiting for a few more, I think. Sorry, Kawashima-san, you were going to say something?
Oh, no, that's fine. I just need to, who's going to take a photo? Nate, are you taking?
I can take the photo, that's fine.
Okay, so maybe we should take several shots. Maybe.
All right, here we go, everybody. Turn your camera on if you haven't, and I'm going to take the first photograph in 3, 2, 1, smile. Smile means show your teeth. Kawashima-san likes to say that. You're not smiling unless we can see your teeth. So we're going to do that again. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, smile. Fantastic. It's great to see everybody. Hey, you're a good-looking bunch. You're a wonderful-looking bunch of people. Turn your cameras on, those who haven't. We're going to go again. 3, 2, 1. Ready? 3, 2, 1, smile. That's it. Fantastic. I still need to do several pages, so I'm going to need you all to bear with me and smile once again. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And we're almost there. 3, 2, 1, smile. A few more to go. 3, 2, 1, smile. And one more. 3, 2, 1, smile. All right, fantastic. I think I got everybody who turned on their camera. Thank you for participating.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Nate.
Thank you.
Well, just before we step and start off with our next speaker, due to the time crunch we are in, and as we're running late, I request all our honorable speakers to kindly keep your information in a nutshell to honor each other's time. I really appreciate it. Up next, giving us a brief presentation on space exploration and analog astronaut training opportunities, we have Dr. Jaikumar Venkatesan. He is an entrepreneur and the Chief Executive Officer for Vallis Marineris International Private Limited, India. He is the partner and Chief Technologist for Synergy Moon, USA. He's also the director at Analog Astronaut Training Center. He has 14 plus years of experience in aeromechanical systems for combat drones and spacecraft engineering. His expertise also lie in the spacecraft engineering and additive manufacturing nanosatellite research, and also the Chief Technological Officer for KSF Space Foundation, USA. He's one of the global experts to witness a 3D bioprinter developed by 3D Bioprinting Solutions Russia, which intends to conduct the magnetic levitation. He's also supported the United Nations program on space applications in Austria. He is the visionary board member to the Upgrade Technology Contests organized by National Technology Initiative, Foundation Agency of Strategic Initiatives Russia, and the deputy chairman for International Academy of Space Law, Russia. Sir, the floor is all yours.
Thank you for the brief introduction, and very good evening to every participant and also the speakers and the colleagues and friends. So I'd like to take a small opportunity to discuss about what we are into. So now we'd like to explore about the opportunities that we started our journey with Google Lunar Express, one of the private moon landing missions. So as one of the co-founder and chief technology officer for Synergy Moon. And now we are working on CubeSat platforms, and also we are working on kind of manned spacecraft training simulators and that we are developing for professional astronaut training, and also we are working on spacecraft like a payload developments. So that is most critical thing. So it's me here. This is one of the kind of this is manned spacecraft training simulators, and so this is the some of the activities that we are working on. That is called the space exploration rovers, and currently we are into the Mars rover that is we are developing for Synergy Moon USA. And we also offer the astronaut training, especially in this is the Analog Astronaut Training Center in Poland. This is supported by the various space agencies, and also there are many private civilian, like future astronauts can get training. And we also working with our partner in Russia, who is a professional astronautic training supplier and also the main contractor for the Roscosmos for the development of the Soyuz spacecraft training simulators, and also we are looking forward some few other simulators as well. And we also offer the stratospheric missions, that is for to study about the stratosphere, and also we have the two variants. One is the pressurized variants for living or microbiological experiments, and unpressurized one is used to expose to the environment like radio Sunday, those kind of things. And we demonstrated the space station experiments in 2018. It's the world's first living tissue has been printed in International Space Station, and it's a partner with the 3D bioprinting solutions in Russia. So we are also sending some coronavirus to the protein to samples to the International Space Station by in Soyuz MS-22. So I will show you something about that. And we are also into continuing our moon mission. This is by 2025, we are trying to build one micro lander on the moon. And we are also working as a consulting services for special programs and also the training programs. So I'm one of the candidate who shortlisted for the Moon and Mars analog mission in Russia. This is NASA and Roscosmos mission. So I was the candidate who was there, but I did not participate due to some other reasons now. So this is some this is one of the favorite place in Russia. And now we are exploring, the bioprinting. We wanted to do the biofabrication activity. And now we accomplished in International Space Station. We want to do the same experiment to on the moon and beyond. So normally this is the Institute of Biomedical Problem where normally the crew selections and also they undergo all the medical examinations and also the psychological behavior and also the most specialist training is going to be happen in this place. So these are our colleagues who have completed the participants of Mars 500 analog astronauts, these three of them. And he's the head of that laboratory, Mark Belkovsky. So he is more senior person in there. So he is helping several missions of real astronauts and cosmonauts to fly to the space station. And there are some experiments that we can carry out there. It's like you might be heard about. If you just need to sleep on the bed, they will pay you a good amount of the salary, something like that. So this is something like this is called the dry immersion test. So normally here what we monitor the eyes, bones, and also the muscle strength, your brain activity, ears and lungs and liver functions. So these are the things will be monitored. It is like just floating astronauts in the space. So these are the doctors and the one is the ongoing cosmonaut. So we are undergoing developing the small orbital segments that can be used for multi-purpose workstation. It is called up to some 300 meter cube, and some of the schematic here. It is like a mini. This is the Russian model right now, but we also having the similar version of multi-purpose workstation. It will be the tabletop small workstation. There will be used for universal different CubeSats payloads. So we can experiment in different solutions like to behavior of solutions and biological analogs, and something like psychological effects, something like we can orgoplantic properties and agriculture and space station, something, and the buddy robots and survival of micromaterials, something like external changing like a gas composition and mostly it is used for microorganism studies for spaceflight conditions and nanosensor projects and some few components, and also curriculum. It's the ant behavior is mostly respected behavior. So we want to study the modes of behavior of highly organized social system. That's we are planning, and some of the testing some equipments like similarly, and the protoplant is mostly the protoplant is skin disk. That how it has been growth in the different phase conditions. And we are also working on bioenergy. So these are some of the examples that we are wanted to do some experiment. This is our the spacecraft that currently we are planning to work with Russia, India, and France, Malaysia all together. So we'll see, and we'll keep posting the updates. So this is about our analog astronautic sensor, Poland. So these are the guys from European Space Agency, Polish Military Institute, and there are many other analog astronauts from participated from the various countries. And we continuously exploring, participating in the space activities, and we trying to promote our industry in best, and we inspire the generation. So some of the example projects that we wanted to do on the moon is like a remotely construction work. That is like mostly the constructing building, and some small stations there, and a field stations, like this. And this is here. This is like coding program of 3D bioprinter, which I have mentioned. This way we wanted to make the world's first bioprinting or organ development on a moon. Right now we wanted to work. Currently, we are working on. We are looking for some partners and the investors right now, and agriculture technology. Like we are making the big size of the lunar factory, and this is how our genetic the Soyuz spacecraft training simulators. This is like a standalone one, and these are the three different versions: desktop versions and standalone, and mobile platform. These are the one they use it in every astronauts and cosmonauts before they fly to the space. This is our version, and the Sergei Kirkorov and other many of the things. So right now we are planning to establish the subcenters around the world, and we also right now we are virtual reality attractions, and this is the new opportunities in biofabrication. It's called we have the different bioprinters. So we made the world's first printing to biofabrication. We made the experiment. So this is around the 14 kilogram. It's me. This cosmonaut is performing the test, and this is how they cartridge the tissues using under the microgravity conditions. How the tissues have been like growing in a international space station. So now we wanted to do on the moon. Now I am looking for like Elon Musk, anybody like who have been like a potential partners, or maybe the sponsors or investors to invest in this project. Like we are planning to have the 6 chambers of we are going to print every 6 different organs, like a heart, liver, or some type of organ, human space you can call it like. So technically it's like we can getting the stem cells from them of the donor, so we can take the 6 different samples from 6 different people, and 6 different microorganisms we are trying to print on the moon surface. So now we can broadcast online there. So now we are living in this era of the coronavirus pandemic situation. Now we wanted to safeguard safeguard our people and the people on the earth. So we wanted to test it into the space as well. So now we want to study the structure of the protein, that how it is used for to prepare the medicines to very effective on humans on space and also on earth. So now we are planning to make the shipment to the coronavirus protein, that is planning to send into the atom. It's like maybe flying a Soyuz MS-22 spacecraft that will perform the activity. But people are worried about this situation, because there is no need to worry about this health of the astronauts and this thing. So it will be highly safe. It will not pose any danger to the humans. So that is sure for that. So this is one of the breakthrough we wanted to make it. And second, and finally, we are making some of the constellation plan with the 5G and 6G with our France partner, the Anyways. We also supply willing to work with the companies and industries or whoever want to develop their missions. We are happy to support with our antennas, and also we can develop the payloads for them. So this was the Member of Parliaments from Vietnam delegation 2019. And thank you. This is the image of one of the best images. My friend Sergei Koshkov, he's posted my image on International Space Station in Cupola deck on celebration of Yuri Gagarin's day. So thank you very much. Please follow us if you want to join any analog astronaut mission. So you can apply through our website. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Soaring high with brimming technology, Dr. Jaikumar Venkatesan, thank you so much for giving us a peek into your work. Our next speaker for today is engineer Dusan Rajosavljevic. He's a structural and software engineer and founder head of Committee for Space Program Development CSPD, Republic of Serbia. He is the author of the WQM Serbia, that's the Water Quality Management, and he's also the project director and has international unity programs. He was the co-founder of World CANSAT and Rocketry Consortium and championship with 75 plus countries. He's also the mentor of TSC Technologies Private Limited. After completing the CLTP7 course, he launched an educational program related to space engineering for students of elementary, secondary, and higher education in Serbia. He has a lot to do with CANSAT and water rocket within the national formal education system. He is the author of the National Strategy for the Development of Education, Human Resources, and Technological Capacities in the Sphere of Space Engineering. I now request you, sir, to give us an introduction to World CANSAT Rocketry Championship, the WCRC.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir, we can.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to show you something because I'm right now at our airport. Maybe you can see the children outside. I will come back. Sorry. Okay, I just want to show you something different in my presentation. I'm a little bit tired. I'm sorry. Also, of course, it's my honor and pleasure to attend this meeting. I apologize for joining just now, but I'm currently, as I said, at our airport. I mean, it's our aerospace center, because excursions are held every weekend for children from kindergartens and schools in order to get acquainted with aviation program and space program. So you just see the children. That is the children from kindergartens. It's about 100 of them this weekend. So during my participation in CLTP7 in Sapporo in Hokkaido, I said that upon my return to Serbia, I have a big responsibility and a lot of work to do to establish the Serbian space program, actually to define all programs for capacity building and human resources development in this area, as well as serious work to change the awareness of citizens of my country and the region. I emphasize the region is post-conflict region. What I said is exactly what we have been doing for the past 10 years. And now, after the coronavirus period, we have started implementing the program in full capacity. And I must point out that the response and feedback are fantastic. Because of that, I wanted to show all of this to you. CANSAT Rocketry program has become part of the educational process at all levels of education in Serbia, as Bhavana said. This year, after the pandemic break, we held a national CANSAT rocketry competition in April. In 2019, we held an international CANSAT rocketing competition at this airport as part of this plan. teams from India, Bulgaria, Hungary, the countries from former Yugoslavia, etc., participated. Immediately after that, India and Serbia decided to jointly launch a global initiative to establish the World Cancer Rocketry Championship, WCRC. WCRC consortium of several countries has been established, actually 7 countries, which managed the championship and has defined the rules of the functioning of the championship. WCRC functions like any other sport. For example, football, basketball, cricket, or something like that. The realization is 3 phases. The first phase is the holding of national competitions as qualification of the best teams to participate in the second phase, which is continental competition. And this second phase is of qualifying nature for participation in the third phase, which is the World Finals. The essence of the championship is CANSAT. I emphasize that. Actually, the realization of CANSAT missions. The rocketry part is just a launching tool. In many countries, due to bans, rockets cannot be used, so drones or helium balloons are used for competitions. The WCRC also includes countries that have already had CANSAT rocketry programs and competitions, and we have enabled their teams to continue to compete at the international level, actually in phases 2 and 3 of WCRC. So WCRC respects everything that already exists, does not interfere in the functioning at the national level, and does not interfere with existing rules, but provides an upgrade to the common good. I will take this opportunity to invite everyone who is interested to join the WCRC, either as a person of contact or even organizer of the National CANSAT Rocketry Competition. We are very flexible and ready for all forms of cooperation because we are all on the same task. And such programs are an excellent tool to achieve goals. WCRC is currently present in over 60 countries, 60. And this year, for the first time ever, the WCRC World Finals will be held. The finals will be held in Serbia in September. Due to the pandemic situation, everything was postponed for 2 years, most national and all continental competitions. But now is the time to start the realization. Serbia has already started, and as I already mentioned, in April, we held a national CANSAT rocketry competition within the WCRC. Right now, as far as the World Finals concerned, I want to make an official invitation to university student teams worldwide to register and participate in this historic event. The fact is that everyone always remembers those who were first in something, so this is an opportunity to be the first. The rules have been defined and the official document has been published on our website, wcrc.world, as well as on social media. The document contains detailed information about application, teams, missions, location, costs, etc. In case of any doubts in the same document, there is a contact through which we will help you, of course. You probably see the trophy, which the winning team will take to their country. The trophy is huge, 1.5 meter height, and was provided by the ITCA and TCA team from India. So please come to Serbia and feel like you're home. Come to gain new experiences, new knowledge, to establish new friendships. Come to have fun together. Come to write history together. Come to make your country proud. I really apologize if you may hear the voices of children in the background. As I said, currently about 100 of them are outside at the airport, aged 4, 5, 6, and 7. They are children from kindergartens, as you can assume. And they're currently on a break between the two parts of the program we prepared for them. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to give a presentation right now. I would now have to return to my duties with them. I beg for your understanding. And once again, I invite you to come to Serbia in September to participate in the first World Finals of WC ever, and to show the world that you are the best. Registration of teams is until June 15. For all questions, please use the contact in the document on our website, as I mentioned. Thank you so much. Thank you for your understanding and for your attention. And please take care.
Well, Dusan, the fraternity we share with Serbia is built on the foundations of our relationship that we share. Thank you for giving us all the information on World CanSat and Rocketry competition. I believe we have many enthusiastic minds willing to take part. Thank you, Dusan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Our final esteemed speaker for the evening is Padma Shri Professor R.M. Vasagam. You might call him the first employee of ISRO. He's worked with Vikram Sarabhai and Professor Satish Dhawan. First project director of ISRO Apple, India's first communication satellite. An outstanding scientist of ISRO with 30 plus years of experience, contributed to Indian space program right from its inception, from the Stone Age of ISRO to the Moon mission, to the Mars mission, and the Gaganyaan. At ISRO, Vasagam Sir is called the walking encyclopedia even today. He served as the Vice Chancellor of Anna University, Dr. MGR University, and Chancellor Dr. MGR University, Karpagam University, Karunya University, Vishveshwaraya Technological University, and many more. He has been the recipient for many honorary awards, such as the Vikram Sarabhai Award, the Padma Shri, Distinguished Alumnus Award from PSG College of Technology, Distinguished Alumnus Award IIT Madras, Systems Gold Medal, System Society of India. He has served as visiting scientist at Institute of Space and Astronautical Sciences, University of Tokyo, Center for Space Research, Lincoln Lab, MIT Boston, and NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, Maryland, USA, 1971. What a pleasure to have you amongst us, sir. I now request Padma Shri R.M. Vasagam to kindly share his experience on space applications for early warning systems, disaster mitigation, and management.
Yes, am I? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, you have heard already about the thing. You know, the 1957 marked the launch of Sputnik and also the International Geophysical Year. I think that is the mark that made the beginning of collaborative program in the space. Equatorial Electrojet work was to be around the Trivandrum area, that is the Tumba rocket station. It is Brazil, Ghana, and also in India and Australia and Fiji. Some of those places, the Equatorial Electrojet, it is around 100-kilometer altitude. So this is the one which ionospheric research, it is still a puzzle. Equatorial Electrojet, it is a 10-kilometer kind of thing. All ions and electrons flow. So this is what I think triggered the International Geophysical Year. And what you see here, the beginnings at Trivandrum, the nose cone being carried on a cycle, and also the other. These are basically because of the radio silence to be maintained. Radars are operating, so that time you cannot run the motor vehicles. So this is what I think it is out of necessity they took all this, and cycle was one of the means of transport within the Tumba rocket station. And what you see the next, the buildings where we worked, on the right side you see the model of the SLV-3, the first orbital launch, and also the church building where most of the work was done at that time. And in the middle you see the Apple satellite, which I was fortunate to lead with a team of nearly 2,500 people. And this was one of the state-of-the-art technology mission from 1970s. 77 it started, and then we launched it in 81 and operated for 27 months to do everything what we call nowadays the telemedicine, telecomputing, teleteaching, all kinds of things. So teleconference. So what started in those days, now it has blossomed into operational level. So next. Yeah. This, here you see a single bull cart, and it is in the open field for testing the antenna pattern, because VHF communication system. But we had suddenly, few weeks before launch, we found that our link margin, we had a problem, almost 10 dB loss. So the ground plane correction was to be done, and that is how the open field test was done. Otherwise, it would have required a closed indoor, antenna field pattern measurement system. Anechoic chamber was not available at that time in the country. The right side, you see the Apple as a sandwich passenger sitting in the middle. That is with a rectangular solar panel. That is the Apple piece. On top, Meteosat. Bottom, there is an Italian monitoring satellite. So this was at that time the Ariane 1, which was originally 1540 kg. It became 1640 at the time of launch because of the improved performance of the propulsion and other things, structural masses. And then the launch took place in 1981, June 19. So it is not very far from this. So we had a celebration of 40 years of launch of Apple with nearly 70 or 80 people who are my team members in those days. We still, some are in other continents. So we had only online meeting at that time. Yeah, next. Now what you heard from Dr. Nadre, all the others, and basically the small is beautiful. Schumacher's statement has come true, and also the Freeman Dyson is that it is butterflies everywhere. So the small satellites with small solar wings, they are going to be the dominant thing in this, coming decades, and maybe hundreds of them, thousands of them. So what we have seen, 1U, CubeSat to 12U missions have come. Then we also have the missions which are coming in the for democratizing the space technology to all countries, all age groups, and globally more than 3,000 small satellites have been already launched. I think India has contributed. India has also launched, 104 satellites in one single launch for some foreign customer. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating, that we all know. So the next one, yeah, move to the next. No, next you move. Yeah, what you see, proof of pudding is in the eating. That is a saying. So, and too many cooks spoil the broth. Okay, these are the two things. But when Dr. Anandre said about the system engineering, it is highly interdisciplinary. Many people have to come together. Now, interdisciplinary. That is the difference between same discipline people all coming together. They will not probably produce a successful end product. So that is, I think, realized in the thing. But the end use, primarily, what you see, inaccessible regions, transient events, and also things which are, beyond our control. So this is where I think the disaster mitigation is one of the things. The National Disaster Relief Force is supported now in the country by the satellite data. Indian Meteorological Department is also supported by our satellite data. But this is one very unique, and the state also has got the disaster relief forces, and they get the data live from the, all the people. Now we have the other part is the telemedicine, which is, which was experimented in even in Apple time. Now it has matured. Now you have connectivity through the mobile and also through satellite and many others. So here we have the advantage of having the doctors, expert doctors at one place and the patients at remote villages. So they are linked, and then the diagnosis is done, and then initial health care is given, and then they are advised to go for higher level of care. The other part is on the epidemiology. This is another thing which is spread of diseases that can be monitored very, very carefully. You can get the data because it is a global thing. Now, for example, the pandemics are happening. Now, how it is spreading across the globe, all those things, the small satellite data collection will be a very, very useful thing, reporting and then collating and then getting the things in a real-time basis. Then we have the next one. Here we will see the other one. The drought is one of the biggest disaster. There is no rain, no cultivation, not even the forest will go. So many of those. So the vegetation index, which was devised by NASA scientists in Goddard Space Flight Center, now that has become a tool. So the onset of the water stress and also the plants perishing, the photosynthetic activity getting affected, everything can be done by the vegetation index. In India, there is a central service from National Remote Sensing Center publishing this data continuously. And the other part is on the cyclone monitoring. This is primarily done from the geostationary orbit very resolution radiometer. And this is Orissa cyclone, very, very famous. Because of the timeliness of the data coming, and then the administration coming into full force, the people are evacuated, the lives are saved, properties also could be saved as much as possible. And then the post-disaster assessment was also made possible by the satellite data. And the other major disaster is the forest fire. It is not alone in India. It happens in many other Australia, in US and many other places. So that is why wealth is destroyed. So this is another thing where the timeliness of detection of the forest fire beginning, and then the water tankers, airborne water tankers are being used in advanced countries. So this is one more application which I think we'll have to see in India. We are also to get into this and many other things like, in Malaysia, in Sarawak, many other places it has happened. And right now we are seeing that the aeronautics will come into picture here to help the forest fire fighting. Yeah, next one. Yeah, next. Yeah, this actually the scene of the forest fire where you see the pictures coming from geostationary orbit kind of things, and also the orbiting satellites. And here the small satellite constellation can come into full force and full effectiveness. So this is what I think we'll have to see. The Orissa cyclone, of course, this has been reported widely, and how the revenue administration, the district administration, all the people who are to act on the data in real time. That has also happened. And post-disaster assessment of the damage and then compensation, insurance and many other things are coming. Okay, next. Yeah, here the IoT, now you heard that Riaz spoke about the small satellite and Dr. Anadre also. Basically, the devices spread all over the place, whether it is for water quality or for the air quality or many other things, pollution monitoring, variety of things. The IoT devices can be there, power quality also, and that will be collected and consolidated through the small satellite missions. So this is very, very important to keep in mind, that the constellation of satellites monitoring, keeping a watch all over the globe, and at the same time collecting the data and taking it to a cloud, and then everybody can have access to shared data. So this is one of the important missions as part of the proposed 75 satellite student missions. And the other thing you will see, the ocean data boys are helping us to get the data on the next one. Yeah, next one you go. Yeah, ocean data boy, that is one of the things, it is 14 places across the country along the coastline. It is going through the satellite link, and then the data is coming to Hyderabad for a central location, and it is shared globally. And the top you will see the the data from the NASA for the lightning. It is 100,000 lightning events occur every day. So this is what I think you will have to monitor and map, because the power, the entire power grid is very much affected, and the thunderstorms are occurring. So variety of things can be studied by monitoring the lightning alone. So the IoT in combination with the small satellites globally can track all these events. Yeah, last one. Okay. Yeah. Now I just want to close by saying that a civilian early warning system is the need of the hour, and this has been time and again told by Professor Satish Dhawan, whose birth centenary was celebrated in the 2020, and now we are, yet to fulfill some of his visionary ideas. That is why when we have a military early warning system, defense services have that kind of thing, and an enemy aircraft is intruding or something is happening, you get instant alert and then scrambling of the fighter jets and many other things are happening. But here in civilian early warning system, a disease is breaking out or a catastrophe occurs, like the Bhopal tragedy. We had the one plant, a chemical plant, finally leaked, and then many people, that too in the middle of the night, they were affected. Even 20 years, 30 years, they are still struggling because the bad effects of that foul gas which came out of the plant. The Union Carbide was operating at that time, but it was something in the maintenance, improper maintenance. So this is another thing which we have to see. And Surat plague, one city which is known for diamond, making and selling, diamond polishing. That place got affected by the plague, and the plague was almost virtually, nobody said that there is going to be plague. So the medicines were not in stock anywhere. So this is the thing which is what he meant by civilian early warning system. The other is the crop failure and also the crop status monitoring, because whether the sugar will be available on time, in the required quantity, or the food grain will be available in the required quantity, that will determine the market, forces to fix the price and other things. So the civilian early warning system is the biggest requirement, which is unfulfilled dream, which I think we have to pay respect to Professor Dhawan by implementing it. And this is where I think our small satellite things, 75 student-built satellites, or the concert, globally, the small satellites which are coming as a constellation, they should all help to do this for the actual implementation of civilian early warning system. Because the potential loss of lives, property, and many other things is much more than what a war can do damage. So the focus on the monitoring for the defense purposes now should shift to the civilian early warning system. And this is where I think the UNISEC and other UN bodies and our Indian Technology Congress, many others should come to fruition as quickly as possible. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
So the treasury of knowledge you bring to the table is always unparalleled. A few minutes with you is like a walk through the sands of time in various domains. You truly are the walking encyclopedia. Thank you, sir. To conclude this memorable day, we have Rei Kawashima, who has contributed to micro, nano, pico satellites for education and business applications through her leadership role in the University Space Engineering Consortium that she co-founded in 2002. In 2013, she was appointed as the Secretary General of UNISEC-Global, an international NGO that she co-founded in 2013, and was accepted as a permanent observer of the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space in 2017. I'd like to request Rei Kawashima-san to kindly deliver her concluding notes. You are on mute, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your very, very kind introduction. And then now it's time to say goodbye. But I really need to tell you all, I was very inspired and about today's the meeting. There are many interesting, inspiring, the presentations, and actually only today have only 2 hours, but we understand lots of things about Indian space, the education and space technology, and also the passion of the young people. I really appreciate that today's meeting, and I need to tell you. Today we got lots of the highest record. We had more than 600 registrants and more than 200 actual the participants. And I really appreciate the UNICEF India's contribution to successful meeting. And well, I'm always very, very bad to say goodbye in the end. This is my saddest moment to say goodbye. But the news is that we will meet next month again, the same time, June 18th. And it will be hosted by UNICEF SAR, which composed of the several of the African countries, South Africa, Angola, and Namibia. And we maybe you can attend again, and you all are welcome again. And I want to show. Today, this is Indian clothes that I love, and thank you very much. And I hope to meet you all again soon. Thank you very much. Take care. Namaste.
Thank you for joining, everybody. If the presenters are still online, if you could stay behind, that would be great. We'll see you next time. And thank you to Bhavana as well. You were amazing. That was fantastic moderating. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you to all the participants. Arigato gozaimashita. Did I say it right? Arigato re.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I really
recording stopped.
I love your the moderating, and I love your smile, and I love your way of talking and introducing people. And it's very, very good. Thank you very much.
All right, so for the presenters that are still here, I'm going to move you into a breakout room. So just
yes, please
hold on for me one moment.
Yeah. But actually, we need to take a photo. So please, thank you. Well, actually, we can have some networking session if we wish. What do you think?
For those who would like to stay on, I suppose.
Because the people are still here. So if we, maybe you can take some the networking time.
Okay, if you want to do that, we can do that.
Okay, sure. Let's do it.
All right. I'm not going to split anybody out into specific groups. Then I'm just going to randomize it. And what I'll do is I'll put it on for 10 minutes for each group.
10 minutes?
Is that okay?
Well, how many groups will you make?
Or I can do 5 minutes. Let me just check. Let's see.
Now we have 130 people here. So 13 groups.
Yeah, I've made 20 groups.
Okay, 20 groups and 5 minutes twice.
Yes, that's what we'll do. So what will happen, everybody, is that you will automatically be assigned and moved into a breakout room. You'll be in there with other attendees, other participants. You'll have 5 minutes to talk, chat and speak to each other. If you want some topics to talk about, you should be able to see some on the screen there. If you're just thinking of, if you can't think of something to talk about. So just introduce yourselves to each other and network. And then after 5 minutes, that room will close and we will recreate the rooms and start it again. All right, we'll open up the rooms now. Have fun.